Hey, it's Tammy, and this is another episode of Where is the Sun? I discuss the energies as the sun moves through the gates of the human design mandala and how we may see this play out in our lives or in the lives of other people. So, anyway, I was just hanging out today, kind of bored, and I checked, oh, wait, I have time to do a video. I don't always have time to do videos, and I rush them, so let's see if I rush this one. Actually, today is the first line of the gate 48, and the gate 48 has to do with the fear of inadequacy or feeling unprepared for things. I do not have the 48, so I could probably almost feel it today if I think back and look at it. The energy of the 48 is that of just not feeling ready, not feeling like you've done enough, not being prepared. But in that, you end up over preparing because the fear of not being ready is so great. So I see this in a lot of people that I know, and actually I can pretty much sit with somebody and within the first couple seconds I can determine if they have this already or not. But what'll happen is these are the people that, you know, stress out before a presentation or an event, or it has a lot to do with talents. So different talents like public speaking or playing an instrument or singing or whatever you want, whatever. And for those people who do not have it defined in their chart, when you're around somebody that has it, you'll find that you're feeling these things as well. So that's how I usually tune into a lot of the gates of people around me. I have a harder time with my centers. I do that basically by knowledge, but because I'm so defined, I have just one open center, no, two. But anyway, so what you have to remember if you have the 48 for this week, as we're living with the energy of the 48 so prominent, is that you're ready. Because you think you're not ready, or because you feel inadequate, you actually have already done, probably overdone, what needs to be done for whatever it is that you're doing. That has to do with talents or competencies or things like that. It can be I watched when I was taking a lot of courses back when I was able to, that some people would take the courses over and over and over and over and over again, and they wouldn't feel complete with what they were taught or what they learned, more or less because they had the 48 and they were afraid to stand on their own 2 feet. So that can happen a lot too, and it can freeze you in place. So what you have to remember is that these fears that we get from the different energies that are in our charts, or that the sun activates in our charts, or other planets for that matter, but we don't go there in these. You have to remember that unless it's like life or death, push through it. Give it a shot. What do you have to lose? I guarantee you when it comes to the 48 that whatever it is that you're jumping into, you're not really jumping in. You've already figured out how it's going to look, what it's going to be like, what your safety plan is, what nets you have up, that whole thing. So I don't think that anyone I know with the 48 has sat there in fear, pushed through it, and then failed. Usually they come back to me and say, hey, that went awesome, or hey, this person said that, blah, 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 blah. So again, fears can be pushed through unless they're life or death. They should be, actually, especially around the spleen area, because there's a lot of fears going on there. Something else that can be a little deeper in the 48 is that you start to fear for other people or other conditions, or, you know, the way certain people are in the planet as a whole, like the whole collective isn't going to do what they're supposed to do. And in those cases, when you find that you're really stressing out about somebody else's responsibility, is to kind of pull that back a bit, because what they do has nothing to do with what you're doing or what you think they should do or how they should do it. You know, everybody has their own hang-ups and things like that. I know that sometimes, as much as I'm open to just anybody being whoever they are, that at times when it's more in relation to something that I'm involved with, that I can get really annoyed by people who won't pull the trigger. Like, pull the trigger already. My God, what are you waiting for? Especially when it has to do with like a project or a presentation and I've seen it and it's good, you know, and it's like, well, you just put it away. You're done already. And sometimes if you feel that way, you know, with me, I have fleeting emotions, like they happen and then they go away. I no longer hold on to anything. But sometimes that kind of stuff can eat away at things. So you just got to be aware of that too this week. Like if you're really getting frustrated with somebody, take a step back and remember that, you know, if it comes to work or something like that, I mean, you could adapt it to relationships as well. Like people at the 48 are going to wait until like they're knocked over the head perhaps, but really doesn't matter. And I say that, it really doesn't matter. I say that in the manner that whatever's going to happen is going to happen, whether it takes 10 years, 5 minutes, or a week. It doesn't really make a difference. So there's some things that, you know, you shouldn't push on people that have that kind of tendency to sit back and look and process. And, you know, you don't want to push people into things that they don't want to do. So anyway, see what happens when I have time on my hands? My topics go all over the place. The 48. Stop taking the class that you've taken 75 times. Stop reading the presentation that you have already put away 7 times, knowing that it was done. Stop putting too much energy into the fears of what can go wrong, because you've already determined how you're going to handle it when it does. Don't let the fears just stick you in the mud. Sorry, I just looked out the window. It's been raining here for a couple days, and we hadn't had rain in so long. I wish we had this in like July, but it's kind of muddy out now, so don't get stuck in the mud. All right, enjoy your week. Questions, problems, concerns, whatever, you let me know. All right, bye.